And we are live. I want to thank everyone for tuning into a very special edition of Off the Record on the People's Podcast this evening. We have a magnificent guest with us tonight, one who is going to give us some amazing information as well as inspiration. And that is none other than our brother, an activist, a frontline soldier, a family man, a believer, um, and just an all around kind person to the community as well as to those in the nation, out the nation, a staple in the city of Newark, New Jersey, none other than our brother Captain Kean Muhammad. Assalamu alaikum, sir.
Islam, beloved. How you say?
Yes, sir. Doing fine by the grace of Allah. And on behalf of myself, my family, and the viewing audience of the People's Podcast, we want to thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule to come have a conversation with us. The first question that we have for you tonight is, when did you first hear the teachings of the most honorable Elijah Muhammad?
Oh man, when I first heard the teachers had to be when I was around uh, 13, 12, 13 years old. My uncle, he was the captain at that time, or what should I say? He was a soldier around that time, and he used to always play the minister in his room, and I would always creep in there and listen to him, listen to the minister. Then, so I say that was the first time I actually heard him speak. And that was like it had to be fairly early 80s.
Okay, yes, sir. Now you speak of your uncle who was a soldier who became a captain. What is his name, sir?
That was for the Captain Theodore Muhammad. He was the
Okay, Theodore.
captain. Yeah, Captain Theodore was captain in Newark around late 80s, early 90s. So he was the captain there. I lived with him at that time. Lived with him. So that was
Okay,
my father's brother, father's middle brother. My father's younger.
yes, sir. Well, what was it that made you want to just decide to say, all right, I'm ready to, join the fold and accept the teachings?
Oh man, that was I uh, always was inspired by the minister through my family. My family on my father's side was always into Islam and into the minister. I had uncles that was in both sides of Islam, which is Sunni, and also had an uncle Theodore who was in the nation. And then on my mother's side, it was a Christian side. So, in my weekends with my grandmother, Father's Day, I would go to my grandmother's house, and that's where I would hear the teachings with my uncle over there. And that was on, some of the weekends at school, summertime, things like that. But when I decided, it was when I heard the minister speaking in Savior's Day in '94, the guide and the guidance to these troubled times. That was uh, that was my calling. I mean, I know I'm sure everybody had that they can go back and go back in time to their particular that one moment where they were struck by, I say, like a bolt of lightning. That's how it was with me when I first heard the minister. I remember exactly what he had on. He had on a black suit, burgundy bow tie, and burgundy gaze. And he looked shining. And that was the first time I heard him, and that was well, really the real first time I really listened to the minister at that moment in time. And and that's when I decided to join the ministry. After that speech.
Okay, do to Allah. And Brother Captain, people are showing you love all around the world. Walaikum salam, Sister Miriam. Brother Daniel E
Praise
says,
to
Assalamualaikum,
Allah.
walaikum salam, Brother Daniel E.
Yeah.
And Sister Naima, walaikum salam. You all, thank you all for watching. Brother Captain, someone texted me and said there is a kickback in the background. Is there a way? Is there something like a noise in the back? But he's saying it's
No,
saying it's
I'm maybe not too high. I don't know.
yes, sir. It's all good. We right here with you.
It's
Okay.
same thing.
Here we yes, sir. So here we go. The next question is, how did your family and friends feel once you accepted the teachings of Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad?
Oh man, my family again. I was, and my uncle, he was a lady. he was so happy and excited that I joined. And most of my friends, when I joined, we had a group, it was a group of us that actually joined together. I mean, it was almost like, my friends that we hung out with, it was, you know, 11, 12 of us that all came in together. It's like almost like a gang of us. And our girlfriends, and we all came. So it was accepted amongst my friends that what I did. They felt that, it was something that for them that they wish they could do. It was something like that type of a feeling towards them. At least that's what I was told. So, but they were very happy, very elated. I had joined the nation and took on that fight to fight for our people and stand up for justice. That's what it was about.
All praise due to Allah. Yes, sir. And Brother Captain, thank you. And I'm coming to all the questions in the comments that people are sending you and showing you love from all
Yes,
around the
sir.
world. Walaikum salam, Brother Musa,
Praise
holding
be
it down
to
out of New
Allah.
York City. And Sister Phyllis, our New York family, holding it down out of MUI. Thank you, Sister Phyllis, for
Assalamu
always showing
alaikum.
love. Yes, sir. But Captain, I had a quick question for you. The crime rate is, can you hear me, Brother Captain? Yeah.
I'm here.
Yes, sir. The crime rate is high in a lot of the major cities across America, and Newark has always, been one of the cities that had a high crime rate. What made you decide to, put a suit and bow tie on, so we're gonna go on the street, uplift the community, help, do for self in the city like Newark?
Well, you know, I grew up in Newark. I'm an Essex County boy, so I grew up in Newark, and of course, crime is hard. But when you're out there and you got the brothers behind your back, and you got faith in Allah, because that's all it was. It was the faith in Allah, and knowing that Allah had your back and the brothers had you, because it was all about going out, talking with people, and that I had no issue with that. I had no issue for problems going out and talking with people. Because that was the whole thing. You can't talk to nobody, then, how you going to converse, how you going to fish, things like that. So I had no problem with that because I grew up in this. I grew up in Irvington. I grew up in East Orange. I grew up in the toughest areas in East Orange and Irvington, Essex County, period. So, when you grow up somewhere, it don't seem bad to you because you're there, but you understand the background of your neighborhoods and things like that. But the people that were doing bad are some of the people that you grew up with. So it was easy for me to talk and convert, fish, be amongst the brothers out in the field because it was somewhere where I grew up. Easy.
Beautiful. All praises due to Allah. Yes, sir. Now you said 1994. You had your awakening call. Your awakening. You like, all right, this is what it's
Yes,
meant to
sir.
be. This is very near to the time period of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan going on men's only tours and preparing for the
Yes,
Million Man
sir.
March. What was the
Yes,
climate like
sir.
leading up to the Million Man March, and how did the Million Man March personally affect you?
Well, during that time of being in the nation, it was a real high time in regards to busyness because we had the Stop the Killing and the Million Man March was approaching. I joined the nation. It was almost like a climate. Not only was that going on, but we also had Brother Tyler's statement that was going on in New Jersey when he made the statement about the Jews in Kean College. It was a lot going on. So in that time, it was a good time for brothers to come into the nation because you get a lot of training. You got a lot of hands-on training. When it came to security and the movement and all the things that we were training for in FOI class, we had opportunity to actually put it to work because the minister was so busy at that time. Man, he was going up and down the East Coast at that time. It was like every week. It seemed like every week. But he was really busy. It gave us a lot of energy. It gave us excitement. It gave the city a lot of excitement, a lot of energy. And that time was a real high time. I mean, in Newark, New Jersey, we have one of the biggest LLCs for the Million Man March at that time. And through the help of Minister Padilla, um, Brother Captain G, we were really losing. And all the believers in Newark and New Jersey at that time, not only just the side of Newark, but all the satellites that was part of Newark at that time was also a big part of the Million Man March and getting that thing going. I mean, we had a lot of LLCs, which were Christian groups that was, in the city that help Minister Farrakhan build up those people to get them to come to the Million Man March. All those men, a lot of buses came out of New Jersey. And it was really, really exciting. And like I said, that time it was really busy. The hype was really busy. You had Brother Captain Dennis was a perfect leader. Brother G was a perfect leader to help, facilitate, to make this thing happen. And it was really good to see and be a part of something on the inside, watching it grow from the inside. There's a lot of people, they knew about the Million Man March. They seen it, we all seen it. But to be part of it from within was a very, very good growth and development for myself, for the city, for everything. It was just exciting at that time.
All praises due to Allah.
Especially for a new brother like me just coming in.
Mm. Yes, sir. Okay, and thank you for your wonderful testimony. Brother Daniel E said, yes, sir. Captain Majid was a trainer of men. Excellent. And people will continue to show you love. Thank you, everybody who watches the People's Podcast. Thank you all for watching. My next question for you, sir, is was there pressure because your uncle, Captain Theodore, was a captain for you to follow in his footsteps? And how did you become the captain?
Well, I look at it as I was in training to do my part at that time, way before I became a captain.
Mm.
I used to read, a lot of Brother Theodore's literature. I would read the Supreme Wisdom, which I didn't understand a lick of it at the time, but I would read it and I would read the Message to the Black Man and read some of those things that he had ran. So at that time, uh, uh, books and things like that was fast. Everybody had a lot of literature ran. So I would read that stuff and read all the teachings of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad and listen to all the ministers' tapes. And it was just unbelievable information. And and I didn't really have an issue with anything coming in because when I came in as a squad leader. I came in with a group of brothers from that was in my background and my friends, and we all came in together, like I said, with our wives. And when I came in, I was a squad leader from walking in the door on form. I was a squad leader. The Captain Majid and Brother Aaron and Brother Paul and Brother Minister Kabir used to cut my hair before I joined this. He was my barber. So, talking to him every time in the chair, just questionings and things like that. I was being prepared and molded in a way that I didn't even really know until later on. But when I became the captain, um, it was I almost always like to always say it was by default
Mm.
because we definitely had more experienced brothers in the mosque at that time, but everybody was going through their trials at that time. We had brothers like Brother Capt, he was going through his trial, and I'm sure you probably need to talk to him about that, and, everything about his trial that went on, and you had Brother Aaron was going through a trial, Brother Paul was going through a trial. You're not talking personal stuff, that Allah was working on me with. So when how I became the captain is by almost by default. That and not only that, I've been with around Majid so much, and Brother Minister Kadir had so much faith in me to do the job. He asked me to do it, and I did it. I stepped up to the plate. It was almost like, I was asked out of the barber's chair.
Mm-hmm.
He was actually cutting my hair Saturday morning, one Saturday, and he said, "Brother, you're gonna have to take it." And I said, whatever, man. He said, I'm, you know, with the backing of our lives, no problem. I can do it. And he said, brother, you've been around the jig, you've seen him work, and you watched him, which I did. I was around Brother Captain Jig almost every day since from the time I joined probation to that moment in time where I was with Majid every day, all the time, with Brother Aaron and Brother Paul. Also, the Minister Kadir, he had a barber, so we was down there at the mosque a lot. We were always there. We were always in training. We were always doing something with the nation that kept us fired up. And it was a challenge, and I took on the challenge, and with the help of our lives, it's very successful.
It's a lot. Beautiful. And thank you, everybody who's watching. Sister Auntie, always happy to catch the People's Podcast live. Brother Daniel E, excellent, valuable information for the nation. Native American readings. Assalamu alaikum, brothers, freedom, and all power to the people. All power to the people, my brother. Thank you all for always showing love. And peace to all the guys. Okay, so what advice would you give to brothers and sisters about the value of preparation so that when the opportunity presents itself to step up in leadership, you could just get in there. What advice would you give to it?
You always have to have faith. That faith is the number one um, thing that you should have is faith. You have faith to do it, and you have the knowledge. You can accomplish anything with
Mm,
faith and belief. Those are the things that you have to have. And so, I remember always Brother Paul, he used to always say that, you know, leaders are not made, leaders are born. And it was always that type of upliftment that we used to get that always kept us, in that moment. Hearing stuff like that, inspirational stuff like that is what is needed because a lot of times when you don't get that inspiration, being in the nation, and you don't get we get the inspiration from our leader, but we need it from our peers as well. When we're getting that from our peers and also we getting that fire and that energy from the leader, it all comes together. But you gotta be faithful. You gotta have that belief that you can do it. And you have to study. Study is one of the main things that, because you gotta be able to talk to the people. You gotta be able to talk to the brothers. We can't use baby language talking to our brothers. We can't use it that we have to talk to them civilized. We got to talk to them with knowledge. We got to talk to them about know-how. Things that we know, that's what we have to talk about. And you got to study. And that's very important.
Praise the Lord. Beautiful. Yes, sir. We also want to know when you mentioned you're having some family members of um, the other community, I guess like Orthodox Islam, as well as in the
Yes, sir.
nation. Newark
Yes, sir.
is like Philadelphia, cities where they're Muslim cities, just different sects, different,
Yes, sir.
ideologies and philosophies. How important is it for us to get along and to have unity in a city where Newark has a history of Temple 25, then later becoming Mosque 25, and just the
Yes,
history of
sir.
Newark? How important is unity in the city of Newark
Well,
as it relates to this?
yeah, we're all Muslims for one. We're all Muslims, and we have to be able to be together as Muslims. I mean, when we were downtown. We were downtown, and also the masjid was downtown.
Mm,
Now, before I came into the nation, they were always, bumping heads, at that time. As time grew with the minister and the minister, Honorable Elijah Muhammad's son grew, that tightened up everybody else as well. Because it was a time where everybody wasn't together. But now, I think it's a lot more, especially today. Today with the internet and all the podcasts and things that's going on now, everybody's coming together. More information is out, and that's what's bringing us a lot closer together.
Beautiful. All praises to Allah. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Brother Captain, what has been your greatest trial in life, and how have you overcome that trial?
Well, I always look at health. Health is one of our biggest issues in the Black community, but even with our brothers. Because our brothers don't like to go to the hospital, because our brothers don't like to go to these checkups. We don't, when we feel that we're so healthy that we don't need to get a checkup. So we feel healthy, we look healthy, but you actually don't know what's going on inside your body until you actually go get a blood test and a full makeup of your blood. So health has been my biggest fight. I'm on dialysis now. Through dialysis, I do it twice a week because my kidneys is failed. I had a hereditary issue from my father, and that issue trickled down to me. And so I do dialysis. So that's one of my biggest issues, or one of my biggest trials that I'm fighting today is my health. And I eat right, and I feel good. I'm not weak or anything like that, but it's just something that I have to go through. And again, it's all about faith. It's all about belief. It's all about believing in that you can make it and believing that you can do it. But you also got to tie your candy too. You also got to eat right. You also got to get your checkups. You also got to be able to sustain from overeating and eating the wrong foods and things like that. What they're talking about with food today and from all the outlets now, the message you've been talking about that back in the 60s. So the stuff that they're talking about now, we already knew. We've been new. It's nothing new. So but we have to do it. And that's where the discipline has to come in. And getting your checkups, making sure that you're eating properly, eating right. If you're not feeling something ain't right, go get a check. Don't take it for granted that hey, I'm healthy, I look good, I'm shining, but you're not going to get checkups. You got it. You have to get a checkup. You have to get your colon cleansing and all of those things. Get your prostate checked. All of that stuff has to be checked because of the foods that's out here today. Not only are we eating good foods, we say, oh, we're not eating no hog or anything like that. So we're eating good foods. We're eating good foods, but the problem is that we have to clean the good foods. And a lot of times we're eating good foods, but we're not cleaning them properly. And most of the time, it's not the food that's going to kill you or hurt you. It's the unclean food that's going to hurt you. So you have to clean your fruits. You have to clean your vegetables. You have to clean your chickens. You got to do all of that stuff to do it properly, cleansing wise, and then eating the food right. So that's good. My health is the main thing.
Yes, sir. Well, we are sending our prayers and positive energy to you, sir. I'm
Oh,
rooting
yeah,
for you.
great.
May Allah bless you to heal 150%, sir. We're rooting for you. Yes, sir. My mother, Sister Sharifa Muhammad, which was on dialysis. And so I'm very familiar with it. My sisters and I are familiar. So we rooting. We understand, and man, we rooting for you.
Sir.
Yes, sir. What has been the greatest joy in your life?
I guess having a family. I always used to say, I'm not going to get married till I'm about 50 years old. I used to always say, and until I joined the nation, I remember brother Capt, he said, "Brother, you got to get married, brother." I said, "Right, right." And I got married and had children, and I got 4 beautiful children, My oldest is 37, the youngest is 28. I have 6 grandchildren. So, uh, it's family. I would say my family is the greatest joy. My wife, of course, my wife. I mean, she's still with me 31 years. We went through, the trials and tribulations and her hard work and staying behind me in the nation. You know how heavy it could be in the nation, how hard, some nights you don't get home till wee hours in the morning and you're out every night, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. You at the mosque. You at the mosque. And she stood there with me and helped raise our children and praise into our lives with the help of him, of course, it all worked out. And I guess that would be the joyous and happiest thing in my life.
Excellent. Go ahead, Rick. Yes, sir. Shout out to your wife,
Yes,
your
sir.
children, your
Yes, sir.
grandchildren. And we want you to know, sir, that on behalf of myself, family, and the viewing audience of the People's Podcast, that we salute you, brother Captain, and we thank
Thank
you
you.
for your many sacrifices
your life.
and the sacrifices of your family to help establish Islam here in North America, throughout the world, primarily in the East Coast. Shout out to Newark 25, and please let your children and grandchildren know that we understand what it's like to be the children of parents who put in the work, and all that. So we understand. Yes, sir. Art and Soul Creation says, my brother, all praises to Allah, number 25, FOI for life. People tapping in. We have a brief 60-second commercial break for all of the sponsors of the People's Podcast. We are grateful for every like, share, and subscription. We thank you for every super chat, every cash app. We truly appreciate you all. Hold on 1 second. And we're coming right back to our illustrious guest. Book and coloring book. My father's book, A Soldier in the Movement of Christ. My 2 books, Cleopatra, which is a children's book, and No Father, No Excuse, both of which are available on Amazon. Yes, sir. Like the minister would often travel throughout the East Coast. Is there a favorite memory that you have with him, or him coming towards being in Newark or being in the East Coast?
Man, there were so many. I remember when I first saw the minister. I mean, like physically saw him. And I was on a detail going to Baltimore. And we went in the van, we had the van, and we were going to head to Baltimore. I think it was a NAACP big meeting was going on. The minister was speaking there. And this is the first time I'm on post as well. So I have a post where the minister is going to be walking through. So I'm covering that post along with a few other brothers as well. And he walked right by me. And when he walked by me, brother, it was like I just froze like a statue. It was so. And when I got back to the van, to the brothers, I said, I saw him. I saw him. I saw him. He was right in front of me. It was so exciting. I still remember that whole moment today, this day. I still remember that moment when I saw the minister. That was very exciting. I never forget that. Never forget that. And that was just a few times, but it was a lot more personal times than that as well, where I saw the minister as well too. So it's just exciting to be around him. It always was, always had that energy, and you could not have that energy being around that much fire. We used to say the fire, the sun. The closer you are to the sun, you know how hot it's going to be. So that's how it was around the minister. It was like that. It was energy. It was energized. All praises be to Allah.
All praises to Allah. Beautiful, yes, sir. And thank you, Sister Auntie. Super chat. You always show love. We appreciate you and love you, Sister Auntie. Thank you for always showing love. To the People's Podcast. people were putting the hearts and fire emojis under your
Yes, sir.
comments. Some of the pictures that you sent me, there was our
Yes, sir.
brother, the great, great Minister Abdul Kareem Muhammad, who we
Yes, sir.
honor and uh, thank
Yes,
Allah
sir.
so much for. May Allah forever be pleased. Very
Yes,
kind
sir.
brother to myself, my family, and believing
Yes,
community,
sir.
community at large. What was it like being and working with him, sir?
It was beautiful. I mean, he was in Plains at the time. Minister Kadir, of course, was the minister. And Minister Kadir used to always invite Brother Kareem to come speak at the mosque. And he used to always come speak very, very respectful. I mean, man, he would make you feel so good talking to him. Just the level and hug you. He would kiss you on the cheek. You know, he was just that type of a brother. And we did a FOI night out with the FOI. He was my guest speaker, and I had
Mm,
him come down. And we had it at the Robert Tree Hotel. Some of the brothers helped put it on, and it was very, very good. That picture I sent you was from that night,
okay, yes,
and
sir.
brothers was showing up out of nowhere coming in. Brother Captain Dennis came showed up. Brother Akil showed up. It was a very exciting night, and that night he was the guest speaker, and y'all like again he was always respected, always a good brother, always had encouraging things to say, and he just was a beautiful brother, just a beautiful.
Beautiful. All praises due to Allah. Yes, sir. And you also sent me a picture of you with my father.
Oh
What was
yeah.
he like during that time period, sir?
Oh man, your father, man, he kept me. You know, when the minister Kadir told him he wanted me to be the captain, it was at my East Coast regional meeting,
Mm,
and we were backstage. He was just about to speak, and I always, and because soldiering in Newark and always it was so busy, we always interacted with the A team and Supreme and Captain and being around Brother Captain Jizz. You got to be around, that leadership. I know I did. That was it was just so happened to be that way.
mm,
And I had a lot of experience, got a lot of experience, a lot of training from all of that, And your father was when I became the captain, oh man, he used to call me when he would come to the city, he'd come to New York and just pop up, and he would call me and he would say, "Don't tell nobody. Don't tell nobody. Don't tell the ministry, not here, nobody. Come pick me up from the airport. I wanna just show up." I said, all right, brother Captain, I'll be right there. And I'll pick him up from the airport. And we would drive down to Mosque number 7, ride down, and I would jump out first. And then everybody, hey, something like this, something like this. Then when they see Brother Supreme, oh, everybody just starts scattering. Oh, great Captain. So, but he had faith in me. He
mm.
showed me that how much faith he had in me. At one Savior's Day, he gave me the stage one year, and that was like my first real year of being a captain. And he had that much faith in me to put that put that security on me. And I remember that morning we was at Savior's Day, we was getting ready, and everybody's getting, taking their posts and things. And he said, "I don't want nobody backstage." We had to wear red bands at this
Okay, okay,
Savior's Day.
okay.
And Supreme, he said, I want it to be tight. I don't want nothing moving. I want it to be tight. Nobody moving back there, nothing. So everybody was, on post, and Brother Kadir slipped through because, of course, the brothers, knew it. And all I heard, and you got to realize something. This is before the meeting starts now, so this is a big auditorium, and all you hear is "Brother Kenneth." He called me, and I ran. I said, "What is he doing back here? He got no." I'm like, "Oh." I said, "Brother, we gotta go. He said, I'm gonna bust somebody today. But he kept me on my post, kept me, he had faith in me to do the job, and of course with the help of the FOI, the brothers,
Yes,
it
sir.
was
Yes, sir.
all of course it's nothing. I won't take that for myself. It's all, with the help of Allah and the brothers, your brother. Yes, sir. But that was our time with him, and we bought him. We also bought him for FOI night as well in Newark, and picked
Mm.
him up, and he spoke, and we had brothers perform, and brother Vertus actually performed that night. Him
Okay,
and brother
as a rapper.
actually, yes, oh yeah, brother Vertus was he was putting it down. He could put it down. I don't know if you go to brother Vertus's page. He got some raps on there, man.
Yes, sir.
I always tell him, I'm like, brother, I'm your number one fan, brother. I'm your number one fan. And he performed, and him and brother Richard, they had did a song. It had actually got around the nation at that time too.
Mm.
I wish I could get that cassette and remember cassettes back then. So it's
Okay.
on
Okay.
cassette somewhere. That song with him and brother Richard, 4X, 5X, and they did a song, and Richard is Jamaican. So it had that Jamaican vibe to it as well with Brother Burgess. So yeah, your
Oh, but
father,
now we say, bro, which brother Richard?
Brother Richard, he's out of Trenton. He's this
Okay,
he
I know.
was
Okay, yes,
the
sir.
actually at that time he was the minister of Trenton, or the
Mm.
study group coordinator in Trenton. And him and Brother Vertus wrote a song together. And
Okay. Okay.
it was a big song. And they sung it for him, and your father, he spoke, and it was a very good night. But your father, he called, but Supreme always came to Newark, always bigged us up, always, had faith in us in regards to security, especially when the minister he was traveling so much, and we were there. We were always locked hands with number seven, Mosque number seven. We were like, brothers. They always said that 2 and 5 equals 7, and that's how we connect. So we always kept that connection. And me and brother was the younger captains in the East Coast at that time, and your father had a lot of faith in us, and we did the work, and we didn't let him down. We stayed on our post to do our job. Yes, sir. All praise is due to Allah.
Okay, great. Now people saw Brother Ian said, let's get these some. Thank you, Brother Ian. Walaikum salam. Brother Jeremiah, walaikum salam, sir. And thank you very
Sir.
much, American Readings, and everybody who's watching. Okay, now, Brother Capt, I gotta put you in the hot seat with this question.
All right.
I often ask the believers, the soldiers who got a chance to go to the Mayan March, men's only, stop the killing, the night like that time period, strong. Will we the other generation will we ever get to see a march or anything like that where it had that same type of energy and spirit?
I'm not going to say we would never see it. I can't predict that or say that, but I just feel that where there's the time for it, that time will arise.
Okay.
Um, at that time, the minister had a mission, and we all took on that mission. At that moment in time, that was that mission.
Mm.
And the minister took on that mission. Stop the killing was a mission for the
Yes,
minister,
sir.
and we backed him up with it. And it started before I joined, but I fell right into it. The mission.
Mm.
I remember the brother Aaron used to always tell me about the mission and the man. That tape. If you listen to the mission and the man by the minister, oh my God, you will be so fired up, and that's what it took. It took you to be fired up, and those times that then, I mean, we got times now that's going on, and I think that, like I said, I can't sit up here and say it'll never happen again, but that training and that time in the nation, we don't see that type of activity for brothers that's coming in to get trained that way, that how we came in, because the minister was so busy. We had so much going on in the world, and the brothers were so involved, and the minister was so involved in it. So it kept everybody busy. It kept all of the nation busy. It kept, especially the big satellite cities like Los Angeles and Philadelphia and New York and Newark. It was those cities are black cities, and things that where the minister was at, it was at that moment, that height, it was just called for the minister to do what he was doing. And it just uplifted everybody. So even though the minister maybe had spoken North, but when he left, that energy still was in that city. So
Yes,
you
sir.
still had to, move in that city to keep that energy alive and keep, whatever was going on. It kind of, if it was negative, we subsided negativity. If it was
Mm.
positive, the positivity just reigned in the city. So, but it was all through the Honorable Minister Lewis family.
Go ahead. So, yes, sir. And I watched the tapes and
What's
on
up?
YouTube. I watched the lectures of the minister, and I'm just like, I wish I could have been there.
Yes, brother.
Yeah,
It was
yeah.
exciting. Like I said, if you were joining the nation at that time, you really, really, really had to be disciplined. You had to make sure that you were studying, and you had to make sure that you were accepting the mission as much as the minister accepted the mission. You had to look at it that way. You couldn't look at the minister, the local minister, or the captain, or the lieutenant. You had to look to the minister, see what he was doing and how he was doing it, and try to follow suit with that.
Mm.
That's where you got your energy from. But if things were going on, and at that time, like I said, we had a lot of things going on in the early 90s. Like, we had college, Brother College, he had made the big statement at Kean College, and that was huge. The minister
Okay,
had to
let
come.
us let us know what that was like to be there, like around that time period.
Well, at that time, I was on form at that time. I didn't even have my X yet.
Mm.
And but the thing about being in Newark, you you was thrown into the brotherhood of fire right away. It wasn't no time to sit back and you had to wait and this and that. We were involved, and I remember that when the minister was speaking that day at Kean College, if you look at the Kean College speech, um, you didn't see outside, but they had a whole brigade of the New Jersey State Police out there.
Mm.
They thought that it was going to be, this big riot and all, and the minister came and spoke, and it was a beautiful night. But
Mm.
we were prepared. We were prepared. We were on. We were behind. We were about maybe a half a mile away from Kean College in a parking lot in the projects.
Mm.
And and what I mean by that, it was, man, we had the soldiers because we all couldn't go to the King College.
Mm. Mm.
So the minister didn't want to create an atmosphere where he gave all those police a chance to, express their hate for the nation and then try to, make it seem like something else. So we stayed away. The brothers, they had their group. They had a group, a small contingency of soldiers to secure, but but the army, we were just a half a mile away. And if something would have kicked off in there, brother, we would have tore that city up. We would have tore it up. We were ready. We were ready.
Beautiful. All praises to Allah. Okay, so man, that's excellent, and this is great. So I want to make sure I get back to the comments.
Yes, sir.
Tariq Muhammad is giving you the greetings. And thank you to everybody who's watching. So during this, yes, sir, during this time, were you ever faced with fear? And if so, how did you overcome that fear?
I don't know. I listen to so much of the minister talk about, turning fear into positive energy. And my belief in my belief is just so high. And it was just, I just was so fired up. I didn't have no fear. I didn't, it was some things that we did, in the nation in regards to movement and things like that, that I can't even understand and just know how we done it because it was just by the grace of Allah. But
Mm.
fear never stepped into it because once you have the knowledge and once you know who you are and know what you can do, because you thought, man, brother, listen, if Brother Paul was our first officer,
Okay.
and Brother Paul brother was so fiery in his speech, in his talking, in his comfort, in his giving you so much love, and he would always just, I mean, it was always love from Brother Paul.
Mm.
But it was so much that, but he could have told you to go chew on bricks, and you would have started chewing bricks because that's how much you was a soldier and disciplined. So the fear wasn't never there. I think the only time I did fear one time when when I had to do the following year when Brother Burtis wasn't there, I was the DI. Savior's
Okay.
Day, Savior's Day 97. 97. We came in fourth place that
Mm.
year from a victory the year before, but it was with Brother Burtis.
Mm.
So I was the DI on that one, and I think doing that was probably the most most fearful thing to do to come on that stage and be a DI because
Okay.
that's something special, brother. But I did it. I overcame the fear, and we performed and did what we did. And I think DC won that year.
Mm.
I think DC won that year. So, but and then we came in fourth place. But that was the most. But other than that, I never was afraid of anything. I just felt that I fear didn't have any no vocabulary with me whatsoever. I didn't fear anything.
Yes, sir. Praise be to Allah. And thank you to everybody who was watching. Sister Anita X says all praise be to Allah as well. Okay,
Yeah.
now, I'm a student of drill, so I got to go watch it. Got to go. So now that we
Oh
connected,
yeah.
I'm like, I got to go see
Oh yeah.
the captain
I
as
was
a
on
DI.
I was on the drill team. I was on that 95 drill team
Okay, okay, okay.
when we first won. I was on that drill team and a very intricate part of it. But what happened was that Friday, because we didn't know when they were going to have the drill competition. They
Mm.
didn't tell us when it was going to happen. So my flight and everything was set up for Saturday morning. They had the drill competition that night,
Mm.
Friday night. So I wasn't on that night when they drilled that first
Oh
night
no.
at
Oh.
Muhammad University.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So when I got there Saturday, and back then we didn't have the phones and the
Okay,
internet
okay,
and all
okay,
that
okay.
stuff. So when I got to Chicago, Brother Captain Legit, he said, brother, he said, brother, we had all tens all across the board. What? I said, yes, brother. He said, their brothers, man, performed, man. They did the thing. If you go back and see 95 Savings, that drill competition with Brother Burtis, that's when we first had the white gloves and the
Yes, sir.
red
Yes,
bow
sir.
ties
Yes, sir.
and Brother Burtis,
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
you know. So when that day came and Vajid, he said, brother, we got tens across the board, but I don't know if I don't know if I'm gonna be able to let you drill to for the rest of the shit, the rest of the thing. I said, no, for real. He said, yeah, brother, can't do it. He said, I don't want you to go out there and mess these brothers up. They already, they scored
Mm.
tens. And now you go in there and it was me and another brother. And he was like, y'all go in there and be off tune or something and it might mess everything up. I said, well, I was pissed, but hey, I had to listen to my captain, bro. He said, stand down. I stood down.
Mm.
I stood down. Praise be to
Okay, but
Allah.
after that, the the following years, you got the drill.
Oh, yeah. Yes.
Okay,
That
okay,
was 97. 97.
okay,
I was DI that year to say
okay.
this.
Good, good, good,
Yes,
good, good.
sir.
Okay, as
Yes,
long as you
sir.
got to keep drilling there, I'm happy for you.
Oh yeah. That was my man. I was a driller, brother. I loved it, man. Because that's what I joined the military side of it, and I enjoyed that. That was something that we look forward to. FOI class and being disciplined and hitting the streets and stuff like that. That was us. That was me. That was FOI.
Yes, sir. Now we have just a few more questions for you, sir. As a
Yes, sir.
captain, if you're there are brothers who are watching, and when you were FOI class and you're just trying to inspire the brothers and teach directly to the men about keeping their faith, like you said, faith is very important. What advice
Yes,
would you
sir.
give to all of us, but primarily the men, about keeping their faith, in the upcoming years, right now, but in the course of the upcoming years, with
Yes, sir.
departure of the Armed Missiles, Farrakhan, and just the nation having
Yes,
different
sir.
time periods, what advice would you give us?
Oh man, any captain that's a captain today, you have to be close to your minister. That's very important to be close to your minister, to be close to your laborers, to be close to the brotherhood. The brotherhood is who it's almost like you're doing a service to the brotherhood. They're not
Mm,
doing a service to you, you're doing a service to the brotherhood.
mm,
You have to make sure that you do your job in protection and security, and also taking care of the believers, the laborers, the minister, secretary, assistant captain. Everybody is under your security as a captain. And that's where it starts and that's where it ends. But again, if you're not close to the minister, your local minister, you're not going to be successful. You have to be together,
mm.
and you have to be work with your minister. You have to work with your secretary, and it all will be. You have to have that faith, belief in it.
Excellent advice. We got to praise me to a lot. All right, two more questions for you, sir. What is your favorite album of all time?
My favorite album is of all time
Yes,
is
sir.
my favorite album has to be uh, Public Enemy's "Fear of a Black Nation."
Okay, okay.
I'm a Public Enemy fan, man. That's what I listen to. I'm a Chuck D man. I'm
Okay.
old school, brother. Fear of the Black Planet. That was my favorite, one of my favorite albums, and It Takes a Nation of Millions to Hold It Back is
Mm,
another one, a good one. Those are my favorite albums. When it comes to
yes,
music
sir.
and hip hop, I'm a Chuck D fan. I'm a
Okay,
Chuck
yes,
D.
sir.
I'm a Chuck D and Ice Cube fan.
Hey, two great ones.
you know, Death Certificate was one of my favorites as well. So
Yeah, you can't go wrong with
one
them.
and two, one and two, man.
Yes, sir.
The
Uh,
lifestyle.
yes, sir. We had the honor of interviewing Chuck D on the People's Podcast. He was great.
Oh man,
All of the
love him.
S1Ws,
I
Professor
love
Griff.
Chuck D,
So
man.
so we shout out to the public enemy.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. And people are showing love in the comments. Thank you all. And someone
Yes,
said
sir.
they knew it was gonna be public enemy for sure. You know what I'm saying? Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Now, brother Captain, what would you like your legacy to be, sir?
Brother, it is what it is. Today, I'm happy that, I had the opportunity to be a part of the Nation of Islam. Still a part of it. It's all a part of me, the training I take with me with my everyday life. As the minister always say, you can come into the nation as you are, but when you come here, you can't stay. You have to
Mm,
change. And those were big changes that I made coming into the nation. It gave me discipline. It gave me honor. It taught me who you are. Because the moment you know who you are, you carry yourself different. You walk different. You act different. But when you somebody in the street, you know how we were, we're just running and whipping in the streets and doing things like that, and you don't have a mission. But when you take on that mission and you start to know who you are and you start studying, and all of those things that I read when I was a young teenager, it all came to light when I joined the nation. All those Christian Bible teachings and readings and Sunday school and stuff like that.
Yes,
All of
sir.
that stuff came into to fruition when I joined the nation and got the teachings of the most honorable Elijah Muhammad. So, legacy, I'm just happy to be alive. I'm happy that it was a time that I was able to serve, and that's
Mm.
how I look at it. Serving and following the minister and meeting good people. I met a lot of people in regards to the nation. Did a lot of things and good things for the nation in the name of the nation. So a legacy if it ain't there by now, it ain't never gonna be there. So I thank Allah much for what he did give me and how he helped me to maneuver men because it was times where you talking about you dealing with men who were in prison, who were killers and thieves, and here
Yes, sir.
them giving you the respect that you have as a captain. And I
Mm.
was over some of the hardest brothers in Newark, and some of those brothers been around for years, and they respected me. They they helped me, and I thank all of them. I thank the FOI, the brothers, for any legacy that I even mentioned about is all due to the mighty FOI, the brothers from Newark, the brothers from the Stars, the brothers from Elizabeth, Plainsville, New Brunswick, all the state of New Jersey is what makes Newark strong. And
Mm.
that's what, at that time, it was the satellites that helped Newark be the strongest as they was. And I thank all those brothers because they got behind me and whatever I asked them to do, they did it and without a fight. And they did it as long as they could. And it was great. And we had a good time. And again, it was a service. And that service was like I said, if it ain't a legacy out there now, it ain't never gonna be one. But I thank a lot much for just being mentioned by you, brother, and by being here tonight is very honored, very humble, and I thank a lot much. Thank a lot much.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Kevin. Thank you very much. You've been great. Got one more question for you, sir. The Sopranos is my favorite crime like television series of all time. So I always
Yes,
wanted
sir.
to go and visit all of the house, Tony Soprano's house, the Bing, and go to Jersey. And
Yeah, yeah.
brother David, who I interviewed probably like 2 months ago from Newark, he said, "Man, brother Josh, you gotta come to Newark." I'm like, I want to come, but all I hear is like, when I come, inshallah, would be my honor to
Oh
meet you or
yeah.
break bread with you. Yes, sir.
I take you to one of our favorite restaurants that we used to take all the believers to when they came to Newark from brother Dennis, Captain Dennis, all the regionals and that
Yes,
came
sir.
through Newark. You have to go to Fornos of Spain. That was
Okay,
one of our
what's it called? What's it called?
Fornos of Spain.
Yes, sir.
It's
Yes,
a
sir.
very it's a Portuguese restaurant with some good salmon. So whenever you're in town, hit me up, brother, and I love to take you there and break bread with you,
Awesome.
brother.
Yes, sir. It
And
will be my honor.
Newark is not bad, brother. Newark,
Okay.
Newark, at least that part of Newark.
Okay. I'm just telling you. I was like, all right. I
Now,
mean,
now,
it's,
now, I must confess, I'm not living in Newark now. I live in South Jersey. Again, I live in South Jersey, but Newark is my home. I was born and raised, and all the time, man. I know this avenue. My family is there. I got a lot of my family is still in Newark. And anytime you come to Newark, brother, always reach out.
yes,
I
sir. I will.
make sure I try to treat you right and break bread. Or, we can talk and whatever you need. I try to help you out.
Praise be to Allah. Yes, sir.
Yeah.
I look forward to picking your brain and getting some knowledge, wisdom, and understanding.
Oh yeah.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
People are showing love. Great historic shares. Thank you, Stati, and thank you, Brother Michael Muhammad, and everyone who's watching. This is Joshua Leonard Muhammad signing off for the People's Podcast. Assalamu alaikum, sir.
Walaikum salam.
Thank you all for watching.
Yes, sir. Assalamu alaikum.